friends. I'm back talking to you tonight, sharing a bit about what's happening in my world and hopefully in your world too, because I have some really good news for you. Some of you are on my email list and you've gotten that good news already. And that's that My Overcomers Academy is now open. And now this is one of only a few times in the year that we open this group, and actually will probably be the last time I open it this year, and will be the last time that you can get in at $47 a month. And what happens when you get in at that rate? You can be in for as long as you want at that rate. Your price will never go up. So many of you have heard about my story. Some people call it a massive transformation. I call it that because for me, it really was. I weighed 430 pounds. I've lost more than 250 pounds. But that only happened because God never gave up on me. I'm a big failure. I was for many years. But I want you to know He hasn't given up on you either, no matter how much weight you have to lose or what kind of healthy living journey you want to go on. You know, I know that God's heart breaks for those of us who have been and who are caught in the bondage of food addiction, which is actually, when you weigh as much as I did, it is food addiction. And probably I would say if you weigh more than 100 pounds, if you're more than 100 pounds overweight, you have a food addiction. You know, it's this whole thing, this whole process that I've gone on, and this whole concept of the fact that God really does care about us. He really does care about our journey. That's why I coach. That's why I share my story. You know, when I share my story, it's to lead others to understand that God does have the answer to their dilemma. I share that from practical knowledge of how He helped me walk out of sugar and food addiction. And I coach then from my failures as well as my successes. But my successes showed me what was working. My failures, though, my failures cemented in me what doesn't work and hasn't been working all my life, even though I kept doing it over and over again. I have learned more from my failures than from my successes. I mean, we think it's the other way around, but it's not. Our failures lead us to our successes because we allow God to use those failures as teachable moments in our lives. When I teach, when I coach, I share how I had to address my soul issues, including emotional holdbacks, mental roadblocks, even spiritual disconnects and wrong thinking. I share from God's word because that's the truth I need, not only to motivate me, but to keep me on my journey. It's really how I live my life, and it's the way I coach others. It's the only way I know to coach others. One woman in one of my groups called me her superhero. And, you know, I quickly reminded her, I am no superhero. I am simply a weak human vessel made strong by God's grace. He is the superhero for sure. He is our power source. I don't coach from any point of view of look at me. I encourage those I coach to always look at Him. look at him. He's our guide. He's the one who's going to give us direction. There is, in my book, there is no other way to take any kind of healthy living journey rather than to rely completely on God to help us do the impossible task of losing weight, keeping it off, and totally changing our lifestyles. That's really the hard part. You know, losing weight for me wasn't that hard. I could set my mind to it and I could get it done. It's just that I would reward myself and go back to the way I'd always eaten before. So keeping it off was the hard part. And without his strength, we can't sustain and manage our weight loss. We just can't do it. It's not possible. But with his strength, we can move mountains, even mountains of weight. 2 Corinthians 12:10 in the Amplified, one of my favorite scriptures says, "For when I am weak in human strength," this vessel is very weak, then I am strong, truly able, truly powerful, truly drawing from God's strength. And why is that? It's because until I think I can get something done on my own, God won't step in and help me. But when I failed time and time and time again and came completely to the end of myself and surrendered completely to him, that's the time that he came to my aid. He came to my rescue. You know, as a coach, I shoot it to the members in my coaching group. I shoot it to them really straight. I don't sugarcoat it ever. I don't sugarcoat anything these days. You know, losing weight, especially an extreme amount of weight like I have, is hard. If it were easy, everyone would have done it by now, and you wouldn't need me to coach you. The majority of us, the majority of Americans, 2/3 of us would not be overweight or obese and beyond if we knew how to do this. But, you know, my own wake-up call came when a cardiac surgeon told me I had 5 years to live if I didn't lose weight and keep it off. And his words eventually led me to begin working with a coach who could help me. It's the only way I could go forward. I needed an earthly person to kind of clothe himself into God's truth to help me move forward. He helped me see the scriptures in a whole different way. He challenged me to move ahead on my journey. Now, I am very stubborn and rebellious. You might be too, I don't know. But, you know, I needed this earthly motivator to give me a hug and a swift kick every week in order to keep going on the journey. I had to stop doing things the way I'd always done them. That would only get me the same results, which was gaining weight. And when I was gaining weight, I spent thousands of dollars on diet programs, racking up my credit cards. And all this did was get me deeper in debt. And of course, that's stressful and overwhelming. And what do you do when anything is stressful and overwhelming? When you are a food addict, you eat. I would gain it back really quick after I went off of the diet. And many times I would go off of that diet just because of the stress of it. You know, back then, I would have paid anything for a Christian program that would really help me connect the dots. I did try a lot of them that were out there, but none of them had what I needed because none of them were addressing the food addiction component. But now that I've lost the weight, my mandate is to help others. Maybe like you, maybe like a loved one that you know of, to understand that God has a process to help you step into transformation, body, soul, and spirit. You know, God really did call me to share this message, and I do that as much as I can in as many ways as I can. I write books, articles, and blog posts. I appear on TV, radio, podcasts, summits. I put together courses, and I coach. And as I coach, I tried to do what my mentor did for me. I give encouragement, and I challenge you to think about what you are doing. And I always remind you that you can do all things only by following everything you know God wants you to do. I'd love for everyone who has a weight issue to come into my Overcomers Christian Weight Loss Academy. If that's you or a loved one, I only want you to come into the group if you are ready, really ready to do the work it's going to take. And by work, I don't just mean physical work. I mean the thought work and the spiritual work, which is just as integral as that physical exercise of putting the brownie down. You know, recently I had a new, one of the newer members of Overcomers Academy share that before she came into the group, she thought that God would do all the work and she could just go back to her life and live as a thin person. And she had once been that. She thought she could do that. But she says that was insanity thinking. She said, God actually brought me to my knees and took me through all the dark places of my being to literally crush me, to come to the end of myself before he could remake me. He had to break me. So she says it's taken more than 50 years to break her will, but she's pliable now, and God can bend her and use her the way he wants. And she said it's an incredible feeling that, and she said that she loves the way I put things because it's so transparent that even she can understand. She says she's making daily choices every day that she wakes up. New choices, new changes, new lifestyle, and she's losing weight. Now, losing weight, I don't focus on that as much as a success indicator as I do non-scale victories. Non-scale victories meaning that you're making the right choices. You're doing the right things. Weight will come off if we're doing the right things. But we don't have to focus on the weight as much as making sure we're following what God wants us to do. In the Overcomers Academy, like I said, doors are open now. They will only be open through September 26th. Like I said at the beginning, we open several times a year, but this will be the last time this year that I will open. I'm pretty sure I'm not opening again until February of 2020. And likely in 2020, it will be higher than it is now. Right now, we're only $47 a month, which, to tell you the truth, if you go out to eat, you and your spouse or a friend go out to eat once a month, you'll spend that much money. So save yourself going out to eat once a month and come into the group. It'll be better for you and healthier for you. In Overcomers, we kind of have a three-pronged approach. So we have a website dashboard. It has 25 courses with 200 video lessons. Members can go through that anytime they wish. If I were to put a price on that, it's at least a $5,000 value if you had to take all of those courses or pay to take all of those courses. And then the second prong is our Overcomers Facebook group, where we feature one of the courses and go through it one lesson a week. Together we share our struggles and our victories. We encourage each other, we ask questions, we support each other. Now, I'm in that group often, giving hugs and a few swift kicks, like I said before, to help people get unstuck and keep them moving forward. And then we have our monthly Q&A live video call, where I answer the questions of those who are there, or even questions that people have posted if they can't be present at the live call. We've seen many breakthroughs during this time. Anything is possible. We've even seen a salvation, and that was very cool. So our course on inner healing will begin on September 26th, which is the day the doors close for this current opening. We'll be learning about the inner healing principles and how to apply them to our weight loss and healthy living journey. I'll be available there to help coach people through this, to help them remove walls that are holding them back on their journey and address those root causes of why we just can't seem to trust God on this journey. I also want to say, and this is only good for a little less than 2 more hours until 8 p.m. Central Time. I have an early bird bonus because we just opened the doors yesterday. So the early bird bonus is signed physical copies of 5 of my books: Sweet Journey, Sweet Hunger, Sweet Freedom Study Guide, Sweet Freedom, and Sweet Grace. So I actually have another book, Sweet Change, but I don't have enough physical copies to give you copies. I do have enough physical copies to make this an early bird bonus and send these out to you. And I will even pay the postage for you. If you get in by 8 p.m. today, you'll get all of that. It'll take a while for me to get them in the mail to you, but you will get all of those simply by joining the group and then sending us an email to, and I'll tell you about all of that when you join the group. So you can send me your physical address so I can get the books to you, right? But you join the group first, and then we can take care of all of those things later. This group is such a one-of-a-kind group. I don't know of any other weight loss program, Christian or otherwise, that does what we're doing. I give you access to all of these courses that you can go through at your own rate, or you can also go through them in the Facebook group with us. And like I said, I'm in there all the time. I answer questions, I make comments, I challenge people, I encourage you. I take this seriously. I'm very hands-on with the group. Many groups, even groups that I've been in, their coaches are really not in the group that much. Their coaches will give a training, but they leave it to a community manager. At this point, I'm able to be in the group, and I want to be there. I want to give you that hands-on advice, because Friends, I've been there. I know what you're going through. I do. I know it. And I can help you. Okay. So the link will be here on this live video for you to go and join. I also have, if you want to take advantage of it, but I really want you to take advantage of the early bird special as well. So that's why I'm telling you about that first, because the early bird special, these books share my story. This one shares my story. These two are going to give you the inner healing principles, and those are some of the things that we'll be going through in our next course. This is the Bible study book, Developing the Hunger for God. And this is the how-to book. And I have a course in the Overcomers dashboard, the library, if you want to call it that is on Journey to Transformation, and it leads you through that as well. Sweet Journey to Transformation is the book, and it doesn't delve into it as much as the course does, and it doesn't give you as many activities and things that you need to do, action steps that you need to do to kind of cement that into your life. I really like to give my people action steps. So here's your action step, okay? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you about the other thing, the training. I have a free training on my website, and it is called Blueprint for Losing Weight and Living Healthy. It's a 30-minute training, and you just go to teresashieldsparker.com/blueprint, and it will ask for your email and all that stuff. But you'll go right into the training. At the end of the training, there's some pictures there. There's some more information there. At the end of the training, there's a link to the Overcomers page where you can join. But if you want this early bird special, you need to get in by 8 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. For me, that's an hour and an hour and 45 minutes, a little less than that from now. So make that decision quickly and get in, because I love you and I want the best for you. I hope that this has been helpful. Please share it with a friend who really needs this and really wants this training and wants to get into a group to help them go forward on their journey. Sweet grace for your journey.